call this meeting to order. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The microphones. Is that you? This is me. Okay.
You missed the first
Roll call, please. What are you doing down there?
Suffering.
It's got a sore knee.
Mayor Kapaz.
Here.
Mrs. Passios.
Here.
Mr. Ranieri.
Here.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Here.
Mr. Shapiro.
Here.
Mrs. Kelly. Here. Mr. Farrell.
Here.
Mr. Long.
Here.
Mr. Basor. And Ms. Straley.
Here.
Okay, public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act is given by the clerk in the following manner. 1, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on January 5th, 2023, and 2, emailed to the retrospect and Courier Post on January 5th, 2023. First order of business is approval of minutes. A motion is in order to approve the minutes of the November 29th, December 6th, December 28th, and January 3rd reorganization of regular meetings submitted by the clerk as each member has received copies. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion. I'll second that
Motion
motion.
by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Passio. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, those are approved. Reports. Yeah.
Thank you. The first report I have is the total sewer collected in 2022, $874,576.65. And in taxes, $20,932,027.01. So that's from last year. Now, this year. Taxes collected in January, $3,386,349.58. And sewer rentals, $90,198.73. I have a report from the fire department and emergency medical services. There were 32 fire incidents, 50 EMS incidents, mutual aid 6 times during Monday to Friday and 16 times during Barrington's coverage times. The EMS fees collected in January were $2,138.26. The fire marshal completed 59 inspections. Fire fees collected $1,884. And there were 2 fire investigations. And all monies were turned over to the treasurer. I report the construction office for the month of January. The total of $8,764 was collected in permits and COs. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. I have the report of the borough clerk for the month of January. A total of $2,157.40 was collected. And from the registrar, death copies, marriage copies, and birth copies, $2,240 was collected. And we did do 2 marriage licenses at no charge. And that's all that I have.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept the report?
Motion to approve reports?
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Lobenstein, second by Mr. Ranieri. All in favor?
Aye.
We can think about getting rid of those reports being read every month.
I agree.
I was just thinking that nobody really pays attention to.
No, I totally agree.
I
You can read them yourself, though.
Aren't they
can
reflected?
read them myself, but now because she read them, I do not have to read
The front page,
the
yeah.
front page.
And also, what are y'all gonna say?
Isn't the treasurer's report reflective of all of this?
Yes,
Money-wise?
the treasurer's report, I would argue, is probably a little more accurate.
So read that every meeting?
Yes.
All right, we'll discuss it then.
I do have a treasurer's report somewhere, I just, here it is.
I'll look at
Just
that.
council takes.
All right, we'll take a look at it in the future.
I often wake up at 3 in the morning.
And you think about that? The 2 marriage licenses?
Well, can we eliminate it from the agenda then?
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
It's a little bit, it's been about 25 years?
31.
31, it's been on the agenda.
Who's counting?
Yeah, who's counting? All right, committee reports. I mean, this is where finance, Mr. Ranieri.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, good evening, everybody.
Hey, John?
I'm going to rely on my caucus report.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good report, John.
Thank you.
Eleanor. Public safety, Ms. Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, all the statistics and the summary of my fire department was read by Ms. Pinto, so I'm not going to read that tonight, because thank you to you, I don't have to. But I do want to say something important. We have a rating of 3 for our insurance safety office rating. Why is that important for our fire department? When a homeowner's policy looks at the fire insurance policy for that home, they look at the ISO. In 2014, our fire department division was at a 4. Number 1 is perfect. Number 2 is the best, but the worst is 10. We are now from a 4 in 2014 to now a 3 in 2022. Hurrah to our fire department. It is a very difficult
So you think the lower the number will reflect in a lower homeowner policies?
Actually, the 10 is the worst.
But I mean, you think that actually people's homeowners policies would go down?
Yes, and I'm hopeful that they will. So that was, I thought, really important to make sure that everybody knew that we had jumped up to a 3. So, anyhow, so much for the fire department. And Buck Tuttle was very busy. He issued 3 court summonses. So that's a lot for this month. Usually they're not that many. He had 21 complaints, and we'll see what happens at those court hearings. The police department, a hugely busy month. 1,235 calls for service. Wow, is right. Traffic summonses, 267. Motor vehicle crashes, 12. Usually it's around 25, so we're down on that. Arrests are 87. Hours of overtime, 2. That's not bad. 2 hours of overtime.
Come see.
And the stats, of course, were truly excellent. Mayor, do you get a copy of this report?
I do. The chief, he does email it out to the committee, and I'm on that list.
I think we all got
And
it.
I did look at it, because I like to see what officers are doing different things, and it's
Oh,
interesting.
absolutely.
But you don't know who's doing what, so it's not really a true gauge to say, because
Well, it tells you.
some guys are busier than other guys, and I don't know what their shifts are.
Yeah, it's.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, the fellow that's over at the school.
Yeah, he's not.
He's not out on the streets. Okay, I do want to mention, though, about the Barrington Fire Department and their EMS service that we have shared service with. Okay, coming from Barrington to Runnemede is an average of 5.64 minutes, well under the 10 that's required. So I'm happy with that, Mayor. And they had 59 calls for service this month, which is reasonable. And, I'm sorry, 69 calls for service, I read that wrong. And that's their report. So, any other questions?
No, I think it's
You
going
still
well.
want to meet with Kate?
I think that's going to happen, and we'll wait to hear from her, because getting 3 towns together can be difficult. There's some issues going on in our neighboring towns, but we're in good position. We have an agreement with them that's going to go into our budget.
Let me ask you, now, we have a partial shared service with them, with
Yes.
Barrington and Haddon Heights.
Yes. Actually, our shared service is with Barrington really only,
Okay. But they have a shared service.
and they have a shared service with Heights.
So we're kind of sharing
Yes.
all this. Does Barrington and Haddon Heights have daytime service like we do?
Yes.
Barrington does.
No, they use the Barrington EMS. So Barrington EMS is 24 hours in Heights, 24 hours in Barrington. They're only covering our evenings and weekends, because we have full-time employees that also cover EMS, cover fire marshal's office, cover the fire official's office. So we're doing multiple other, our safety coordinator. So they're doing other things, and they're running our fire apparatus during the daytime. It's in the evenings that our volunteers come in for the fire company. So our paid staff leaves, our volunteers come in, and then we're using the paid staff at Barrington. But Heights and Barrington have merged their fire departments, correct? Yes. So that's interesting, because once again, everyone's dealing with the same problems, employees, coverage, and all that. But for us, it's working out. I think it helped Barrington be solid with revenue coming in. It saved us the fact that we couldn't make the coverage. That was the first issue.
That was the main reason.
So happy.
I mean, if we didn't have coverage, that would be the first issue. And then the second issue is the benefit that it is just efficient. So,
Very.
but once again, we still have to stay on top of it. There's still other issues. We have to make these other towns. I think the next step with the 3 towns is to sit down after we have some data
And
do a
fairly share.
fair share, because once again, if we're getting a lot of calls, we should compensate. If we're not bringing in revenue, and that should be equal to the other communities. So that's a true shared
You
service.
gotta meet with Kate.
Yeah, with patience. The other towns,
Yeah.
they have a lot of things going on.
That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Public
Thank you,
events.
Eleanor.
Ms. Pascio?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, thank you, Council. Let's see, today I had a meeting with the Public Events Committee, and we discussed all our events for the rest of the year. We will be having a Easter parade on April, I discussed this with the chief. Matter of fact, I gave him all our dates. We will be having a Easter parade, and I will discuss that with Harry too, on, hopefully on April 8th, the day before Easter. And we'll go through town at 11 o'clock and have Easter bunny, throw out toys and stuff to the kids. And then we'll do our usual, we'll have our youth mayor and council, we'll have our 4th of July, we'll have our Memorial Day. Oh, I forgot to tell you, the Memorial Day, Chief.
Yes.
Okay, so I will talk about that. Okay, so we're down to December, and well, we're going to have a lot of nice events. Also, I would like to say that it was requested that the President, Lyndon B. Johnson, issue an annual proclamation designing February as American Heart Month. President John, I'm reading something. It's Heart Month.
Sure, that's why we wore red ties.
Yes. Okay.
John.
Except for John did not.
Here, John.
Okay.
Here, take a part of this, John.
There you go. Okay, so President Biden this year also continued to proclaim the same. So I would like you to please join me in recognizing and reaffirming our commitment to fighting cardiovascular disease and extending the promise of a long and healthy life across this country. Heart disease claims 700,000 lives a year. Cardiovascular disease touches almost every family. Heart disease is the leading cause of death. February 3rd is Wear Red Day. I hope we all wore red on February 3rd. That was Friday. Heart disease is the leading cause of death for women. It is the #1 killer. 1 in every 5 females will die. So please recognize your symptoms. Don't hesitate to call 911. And with the technology, education, and medication, your life can be saved. Recovering from a heart attack is a gift and a journey. So let's take that and learn from it. Also, on March 11th will be the rabies clinic from 10 to noon. So if your animal hasn't had his rabies shots within the, they're for 3 years, they will be at the Harry Williams. And also donations are accepted by the Runnemede Women's Club. So monetary donations, food is always welcome for cats and dogs. And I guess with that, I say progress.
Those donations go to the local shelter.
They'll go to the local shelter this year. We'll decide on who we're.
Yeah, you let me know who you wanted to go to.
Do we have employees set up to work that day? Has that been worked out?
I haven't asked anybody.
Okay, just gotta make sure, it's always a tough one. The doctor's available, she'll be back again?
Dr. Caserta?
Yes, and she has requested, and apparently she's requested an assistant.
And apparently I contacted other clerks, and apparently they're all requesting to have an assistant. $100 for the assistant, so.
It's worth it because it's very physical. Some of those dogs are,
Yeah, the owners can't handle it
yeah, the
sometimes.
owners can't
The
handle
ones or the chihuahuas?
The little guys, yeah.
It's shot.
Did it scream?
Question. The assistant, does that have to be somebody that works in town, or, I mean, I've been a dog groomer for 16 years, so if it's on a Saturday, I'd be more than happy to
It's
help.
only $35.
Well, the assistant is 100, is
Oh,
that
no,
her
no, the
assistant?
doctor, the
The
doctor.
doctor
Oh,
brings
okay.
an assistant.
All right.
We used to only just pay her, but now she's asking for her
Oh,
own
well.
assistant. So, okay. Anything else? Okay, engineering, please, Mr. Farrell?
Focus report now.
Okay, thank you. Public Works, Mr. Lobenstein?
Mr. Wolzon just got back from being off, taking care of his wife who had a knee replacement. He's been communicating with Public Works throughout the time, although he has a mountain of work to do when he got back. The Public Works has been going along fine. It's been a fairly easy year because of no snow, and it's really helped out quite a bit.
Yeah.
And
Beetlejuice.
whatever. So, and today they were working on the Forest Avenue pump station, still getting that. I saw the truck over there, they had the back truck over there, and Mr. Rich was there working on that, and the rest is progress.
Okay, thank you. Parks and Recreation, Mr. Sabero.
Won't rely on hawkers.
All right, thank you. Solicitor's report, anything?
Go Birds.
Go Birds. Did you see Miss Pinto put some up there, but I told her that word is go, the vernacular is Go Birds. You put the logo, it's people around here say Go
I
Birds.
tried to find a graphic that said Go Birds and could not find one.
Just type, Helvetica Bold.
I could just put Go Birds up there if you wanted to.
What people say?
Go Birds.
It's a Jersey thing.
I put
The logo looks great.
Logo up there, and then I did another one with an eagle dressed in a.
Yeah, it was harder to read though. That one was a little
It was
bit,
hard to read,
it's a
yeah.
little tougher to read. Okay, engineers report. Mr. Baysor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was going to say Go Birds when they did the roll call, but I
Go
decided.
Birds would have been the right answer.
That's what they're doing. in
People jury duty.
Yeah.
You want to rely on caucus. One thing
All right.
to add, CDBG just announced that applications for 2023 are due March 3rd. So I'll be working with Bob and the engineering committee to come up with a road or two.
But we'll be hard pressed to get it year after year, right?
It will be hard pressed, but we're always going to go for it.
Okay.
You never know.
Some towns
So the
don't.
process
March
might be
3rd.
You guys to submit, we do that as a courtesy, so.
Okay.
Could happen, it could happen, you never know.
that they send out or not?
You sent an email out. I saw an email.
No, I didn't get
No,
one.
I got it through another municipality, so I have it.
But you saw, was it an email that was sent out from Tracy? Okay.
Yes.
Should I forward them to you? I thought you were on the list.
I'm not on the list, but.
Okay, I'll forward for now on, but,
I've gotten 3 forwards.
okay, then I won't
You
forward.
don't have to worry about it.
I won't
I
forward.
got you
Can you copy me so that I want to do the resolution for the next meeting?
Well, no, he'll have to come up with the application. I don't think
We do a
the
resolution.
resolution was on that
We
email.
submitted.
The resolution wasn't on that email,
Well,
except for the year of the application. I'll forward it.
No, okay.
Once we come up with it, I'll get you what you need.
But we always have to do a.
We need the roads, we need all the stuff.
Project description form, that's what it is.
Okay. If there's nothing else, we're going to go to some more proclamations. I do appreciate that, and if you want to do it in the future years, I mean, there's a lot of proclamations, but I know some are
Well,
close to the heart.
I did find one about heart, but we missed the day. We need to do it at the caucus in February, because the first Friday in February
Is where red
is the Wear Red Day for heart health. So next year,
So
we have
next year
to.
we'll do it.
How's that?
All right.
Beth,
okay.
next year.
With that, all right, we have a few proclamations from the Office of the Mayor. Proclamation, whereas each year Black History Month is observed in February. Whereas the origins of Black History Month date back to 1915, when Dr. Carter G. Woodson founded the organization known today as the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. Whereas observing Black History Month provides opportunities to gain a deeper understanding of African American history and acknowledges the centuries of struggles for equality and freedom. Whereas Black History Month also celebrates the achievements and contributions that African Americans have made in shaping our country, society, and communities. Whereas every year, the Association for the Study of African American Life and History sets the theme for Black History Month. And the theme for 2023 is Black Resistance, which explores how African Americans have resisted historic and ongoing oppression in all forms, especially the racial terrorism of lynching, racial pogroms, and police killings since the nation's earliest days. Whereas to participate in observing Black History Month, those interested can visit the asalh.org and learn more of the origins of the month, this year's theme, and African American history. And now, therefore, I, Nick Kapadas, Mayor of the Borough of Runnemede, New Jersey, do proclaim February 2023 as Black History Month.
I make sure that I get a copy of that signed up proclamation. I need that for my.
On your list, get better paper for the proclamations.
It is on good
We-
I do, I only, I
Taking
I
this
don't need,
agenda, it's
I don't need it on good paper, I just need a copy of the one that's
The original
I
is,
like
the
a raise.
copy.
I understand it's the copy, but I like nicer ones, especially when we give them to the kids.
It is, it's in cardboard. It's cardboard.
I want paper when we give them out.
She's trying to keep the overhead
We
down.
sometimes give them out,
know, but.
and it should be nicer. And other towns, when I've got
I
proclamations
don't
from
need
other
anything
towns-
fancy.
I understand that, but nicer paper when Joyce is going. Spend the $8.
Joyce is going, we're going to
Okay,
change.
we're changing some things. All right, Office of the Mayor proclamation honoring Lottie Krantz on her 100th birthday. Is anyone from the family here this evening? No. Okay, they're gonna come in when the weather's bad.
I
cancel?
spoke to Pastor Andy, and he spoke to because I told him, I said, we have a conflict. They don't think she's going to be able to make it out, but they would like to have this.
And this
for-
isn't on the nice paper.
I will put it onto the nice paper. This is for your package.
Nice paper.
Miss Kranz there's a party being held on the 11th, and they wanted to have this for
For the
you.
party. We'll get it done. So, congratulations, longtime Runnemede resident, born February 16th, 1923.
Wow.
Lottie Krantz, 100 years old. Thereby be resolved by virtue of the powers vested in this office, I, Nick Kapadas, Mayor of the Borough of Runnemede, do hereby congratulate and wish Lottie Krantz many more years as she celebrates her 100th birthday, and do further express the best wishes of the citizens of the Borough of Runnemede to Lottie Krantz and their sincere best wishes to her and her family on the occasion of her 100th birthday. I mean,
Very nice.
Congratulations.
Very nice.
yeah, 100 years, yeah. Nice.
There you go, Robin.
All right. All right, we have a little more business. So we have 3 used car license applications that have been received by Belmar Collision, Smith's Family Auto, and Toyota Auto. Paperwork is all in order. We just need a motion, and I don't think a roll call, but just.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Lobenstein, second by Mr. Ranieri. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's good. We do a few resolutions. Resolution 2330 is a resolution authorizing application for fiscal year 2023 local recreation improvement grant for the Runnemede Youth Athletic Association baseball field. This, if you recall, back in 2010, 11, 12, we did a lot of work at the fields. This was something that was left on that original application that showed a walkway and a path going from the fields so the parents and the kids can walk from the fields, but also as a walking path, if I recall. It goes all the way around.
Yeah, the concession stand and things like that.
Yeah, so there's an opportunity to kind of finish this one, so,
And to do drainage improvement.
and there were some drainage issues at the smaller fields, I believe, correct? Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a move.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Farrell, second by Mr. Shapiro.
Okay, good.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly,
Yes,
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio,
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri,
Yes.
and Mr. Shapiro.
Yes.
All right, that resolution is adopted. Resolution 2331 is a resolution extending the 2023 temporary budget. Obviously, this is until the budget is passed. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr.
I'll second
Ranieri,
that motion.
second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly,
yes,
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri,
Yes.
and Mr. Shapiro.
Yes.
6 ayes.
That resolution is adopted. Resolution 2332 is a resolution suspending the personnel and procedure manual along with the employee handbook pending review. So Ms. Straley has been looking at our personnel policies because there's some issues that kind of conflict with state law and other borough policies. So we're going to send a letter out, I believe, to the employees letting them know that it's being suspended because we're given new policies from our insurance companies every year, and there's been some conflicts with that. We want to make sure it's all correct. Things like just normal day-to-day operations need to be clarified in there. Once again, we have many contracts with our borough employees. They supersede anything in a policy manual, and the state statutes also supersede anything in our policy manual. But it's things like certain issues that come up. Bereavement is a classic example for funerals and things like that. There's some clarity that needs to be done. So if would someone like to make a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Lobenstein.
And who's going to do it?
I believe the finance department, because it kind of falls under them, but not really, but they're helping.
I'm asking because I want to get a copy of this, of the changes.
Well, the changes are being worked on, but how did we intend to send out this letter? Just through the paychecks? Do you know about it? You know about it, you're the one who did it. Is it going to be out with paychecks? That'd be the easiest way, right? Or shoot an email to everyone?
Well, the checks are on an automatic,
Yeah, they can.
so they'll go out separately.
Yeah, we don't do checks. We'll just have to send an email. I've let some union members know that this is happening, and it really doesn't affect anybody, it's just a clarification for us. So, but every once in a while, something comes up.
Yeah.
Okay, motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Lobenstein, roll call please.
Mr. Fowler?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
And Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
The resolution is adopted, so the next resolution will be adopting the corrected manual. What's an example? Something about state civil service versus local civil service. We need to make sure that those things, because our insurance company gave us a generic book, and we adopted some things that were wrong for us. Okay, next is payment of bills. Would someone like to make a motion to pay the
I'll make
monthly
a
bills?
motion to pay the bills.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Shapiro. Roll call, please.
Mr. Fowler?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
And Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
The bill should be paid. Chief, did you have anything this evening?
No, I'm good.
No? Shelley or Beth, was there anything that you needed before we move on? Okay. I'm going to open this part of the meeting open to the public. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address.
How's everybody doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm Chris Stanch. Runnemede
Yes.
across the street, 20 West First Ave. I'm actually here representing myself, all my neighbors that live on the dead end, 21st Ave, or West First Ave right here, about the Bright Point boutique salon place on the corner and the traffic nightmare that they are creating on our street.
You're talking about the salons that they rent out, Gray Point lets out the salons, and they're parking all up and down your street?
Yeah, it's becoming a nightmare. I've lived across the street
Yeah.
for 47 years, and this
I know your dad.
is the worst. Yeah, this is the worst.
He calls me when he doesn't get his sewer bill.
Yeah. I know, probably. But it's just become to the point where, and I have plenty of photos, blocking the walkway, the crosswalk, driving up on our lawns, hitting our recycling cans, blocking our driveways, and then you approach.
Is there a certain type, I don't mean to interrupt you, because we have had some complaints, and the chief can maybe address it a little
Yes, I
bit.
called the policeman.
But the question I had, and we talking a little bit, is there a certain time of day that it's worse than others? You know, because once again, the borough has a public parking lot. Of course, we'd be willing to help them out, but obviously, if it's happening when we're operating.
I mean, I have photos, this is in a 3-day span.
Is it during the daytime?
During the daytime, Monday through Friday. Saturday, not as bad because Saturdays, I don't know, but, they thin out or they're willing to park here and walk across the bike. I've approached many of the employees at the salon and asked them to ask their customers to park in the public parking. They basically tell me that the street is public parking. That's the response when I ask them that.
It's true.
And I agree.
It's true, and it's.
But I'm also the public
rude.
that needs to use the road
Yeah.
to get to my business, to get to my home.
Yeah.
And it's just, become, really, everybody just, that works there, park in the parking here, because they have 6 people that at any point are cutting there.
Is that the problem, chief? Was it mostly some of the employees? That would alleviate?
I went over there a couple months ago about that.
I will touch base.
And, you know, I have photos, I mean, you can see this car is parked right here on the corner, you know, it's right across the street from Marino's. You can see this Jeep, just.
Now, are they legally parked, or are they blocking your?
Well, they're.
Because if they're illegally
parked
parked-
above a curb
Yeah.
that should be yellow. And when we went to the Public Works, they told us they were out of yellow paint.
That's a great answer.
And I volunteered, my company will donate yellow paint for the whole town.
That's an unbelievable.
If it will resolve this problem. But, I mean, it's just getting to the point where, you know, when somebody's parked that far out, and I have myself, my neighbors, my employees have to pull on the Blackhurst Pike, you're guessing.
Yeah, so I promise you,
that somebody's not
I
coming.
promise you that the corners will be painted within a week.
You know, and
Yeah, I
that's,
don't,
you know,
And-
I'm in charge of Public Works, if you had called me up and let me know.
Well, no, he said he talked to Public Works.
yeah, I talked to the people, you know, whether it's the guys taking down the Christmas decorations.
Well, we'll go to the
and-
boss.
and, you
We'll
know,
get it taken
and I-
care of, we'll get together with the chief and.
You know, and that's really all, you know, all we want, you know, and I think if that happens.
Oh, we'll start with that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they've driven up on our lawns, they've, I mean, it's getting, you know, there's a couple where they're just blatantly blocking our.
Well, if anything's illegal,
They can't drive on your lawn.
yeah, that's
Right,
true. That's
and
illegal.
I say that something to them, and I've gotten flipped off. I had actually a guy take a hammer out of his truck, was threatening me, I called the police, they came. I mean, it's just getting to the point.
One of the
where,
employees or one of the
Or the
workers?
business owners or the customers
the
say,
white truck-
that are giving you a hard time.
This was actually, I don't know who this Encore, if you take that one and, that one right there. See that white truck right there?
Yeah.
That company did all the work in that building. And he pulled down the street, turned around in my driveway, because I'm the last driveway, hit my recycling can, pulled up on my lawn. I was leaving my shop to go home. Yes, I do drive home from my shop. I drive for work.
He lives behind your shop.
I live behind our shop. But, and I saw him doing all this, and I gave him one of these, and when I got out to pick up my recycling can, he got out, said, what are you gonna do about it? Went in the back of the truck, got his hammer, and stood there, and I said, I'm not gonna do anything, I'm gonna call the police. And I did, and an officer came, and, you know, he asked me if I want him to do it. I'm like, I really don't, because he knows I live here, he knows I work there. I just don't want anything to happen to my home, my, you know,
So,
my property. or anything.
while
I'm trying to drop it.
So we're caught between the law and things like that. If they're parking illegally,
Yeah.
that's a separate issue.
And it's
Painting
coming
and
to
things
the
like that.
point where I'm afraid that, whether it's myself, my neighbors,
Yeah.
if we say something, luckily that was me, and it wasn't my son or my daughter or, you know, one of my neighbors, you know, so I let it drop.
Can I ask a crazy question?
Sure.
You own a lot of land right there. Would you be interested in making that any type of parking?
I've been asked by people who work at Great Point, the only problem is we just sold half our property.
Well, even that other gentleman, I know that, yeah, the subdivision, I mean, maybe there's some conversation. Once again, I'm not saying you have to or anything like that. You know, I know that there might be an opportunity to say, hey, look, $100 a month, a parking spot, whatever.
Yeah, and
You know,
I thought about it,
and,
but,
you know, the
yeah.
municipality, we're caught between, because we want to make people succeed and that, but we don't own your property.
Right.
You know,
And
and,
it says, who owns the property on the other side of the bike path, on Railroad Ave and Second Ave? That giant lot that just sits there, I see.
well, those homes, they were supposed to build a house back there, and that was supposed to be something, you're talking about that on the other, there was
On the
supposed to be a
other
house.
side of the bike path, end of our street, you
On the
go up
other
the
side.
bike path, and it's Railroad Ave, it's that whole stretch that goes up to Second Ave.
I have to, I don't have to.
Right
I know there was a house that was gonna be built
Right there.
on one of the dead ends.
It's been sitting empty my whole life, and it'll be.
But we can't force anybody to do anything.
Right, I don't know
That's-
who owns it, I don't know if the town owns it or
Yeah,
whatever.
no, we don't own it.
Right.
If we owned it, it'd be a parking
The
lot.
electric company owns it,
Um,
but, you know, that's just an opportunity for.
Well, let us talk to this, the
Yeah.
Great Point again,
Okay.
and try to work it out. I know the chief was trying to get the employees to park across the street, I think that's what we talked
That
about.
would free up 6 spots on our road.
After Joyce leaves, we'll park her.
The issue
At
is-
4 o'clock or 5 o'clock.
The issue is the seniors not being able to park.
No, 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 no. We understand that. We understand borough business comes first.
That's how I got it.
We
And
do
there's also
understand.
a chiropractor there, they also park on our street. The chiropractor's right there, right next to Great Point, exactly the same building. All his people, he parks there. He's handicapped, so I kind of give him a free pass. But all his people that come there to use his practice.
This is the dilemma of the Black Horse Pike
I mean,
and these buildings.
And I'm all for the reimagine Runnemede, but where's everybody going to park when we reimagine Runnemede? Like, I reimagine Runnemede with plenty of parking, and that's not happening.
Well, as you know, the borough did purchase 4 buildings, tore them down and built a parking lot. We realize that it's important and things like that. One of the things we're torn is take your money and buy someone else's property to put a parking lot that's only going to benefit a few businesses. Because what I've noticed is people don't walk very far.
Right.
If you notice.
And we have a big parking lot right in the back where the police is.
I know.
And just,
I know.
It's public, it's public parking.
So, but a couple quick things. Anything that's illegal, you got to call the police.
Okay.
It's your decision.
And I have to.
If you want to
Yeah,
file
don't
charges,
You all can file
you can file charges. It's your decision.
Yeah, I don't referee anything, let us do what we're paid to do.
Right.
We'll handle it. And I'll try to speak to the owner, and I'll speak to them personally. I handle some things I gotta handle personally. I'll try to speak to the grade porter, and I'll go inside and talk to the business owners about, like, stuff like this is no good.
Yeah, yeah.
You're blocking that,
Yeah, the overweight line.
the illegal stuff.
Yeah,
I'll
and
address.
that literally was 3 days last week.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's
Can I hold
happening.
on?
Yeah, there's my
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, so it's either a police matter, a code enforcement matter, and the only thing that the borough can do is, we can put signs up, we can do things. And then if it gets, I mean, I don't want to throw this out here, but there is such thing as permit parking and things like that. But remember, we're trying to balance everyone's rights, you know what I mean? And that's the key.
So it's getting frustrating for everybody.
And it's, and I understand if they're blocking your driveways or incoming in your driveways. It's terrible. Does your dad, on another note, on a lighter note,
Yeah.
does your dad tell you, he calls me and we talk for an hour?
Yeah, I know.
Texas.
And I didn't tell him about this, because I'm like, he's got enough on his plate, so.
That's how I did his sewer bill.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Oh,
I gave it 25 cents.
Oh, he busts my stones about that too.
Yeah, I'm the one that had to come and pay the 25 cents.
Well, the gentleman who bought something that you did the subdivision, he has intentions, he wanted some
Yeah,
parking.
it's actually, I forget his last name, Jim from A&S.
Yeah, he had the other business.
It's, by Wawa down there.
Yeah.
That says he's.
Well, maybe there, like I said, we can't, the only thing I can say is that there may be opportunities, there may be other solutions. The borough's just not in a position to do anything like that right now. We've
No,
talked about
I just want to resolve
parking.
where I can pull out of my street and not get.
I'll give you my best.
Thank you.
As the chief.
And get yellow paint.
Yeah,
That's easy.
And again, I don't buy.
No, I apologize, they said that to
You know, whatever I can do.
you
to
know,
help out.
Mr.
Sometimes that's the employees that are taking the lazy way out too. I don't know.
Or what they know.
I don't know about Public Works being out of yellow paint. I haven't heard it from our supervisor, so I'll look into it and see
We
what's
do
going
a
on.
lot of painting.
We'll get together with the
We all
police chief. Yeah.
appreciate any help that you can get.
Woodland was out, I think, it's a special paint that they get, so Woodland had that issue.
Well, our engineer is saying that there could be that particular paint, but I think what the issue really could be is we could paint it with any paint. It may not last,
Right.
but at least it comes out until we get the curb paint.
You get crayons out there, huh?
We've had residents in town paint their own walkways and parking spots. Yeah, so it's no big deal. All right, no problem. Did anybody else want to speak about this issue? If you know.
I have a little bit of.
Well, please come up and just give your name and address again for the
So
record.
my issue, he handled that issue.
Okay.
I have another issue. Hi, my name is Kelly Fisher. I'm on the same street as you.
Your address?
25. West Coast. So my issue is when we had bought our home, we had a lot of problems with the bike path and with the trees and stuff growing over my fence. And it got to be a really big problem. And I'm sure, I mean, John Green, I'm sure he knows who I am, but I don't know who the gentleman is right here that's in charge of Public Works, because I called down to Public Works, I drove down to Public Works, and nobody has really called me back in the last year. And
So you have a fence and the stuff comes over the fence?
On the bike trail. And if you ever walk down the bike trail, my property is the only property that the shrubs and all the bushes have totally ruined the fence.
Okay.
So I've kept calling down to the township asking, can they clean it out? And they did somewhat a really decent job. The moral of the story is the stuff is so stuck to the fence, I can't even get it up. I can't even grow even like really nice plants and stuff along the fence. And I'm the only fence line that has that issue.
Okay. So I have a question though. Do you like the privacy or you don't like the privacy? Because if we went in there, because we did this once and I got in trouble. We went in there and a resident complained about
Not
the.
there, somewhere
Not
else.
there, somewhere else. And so I said, remove it. Well, we removed it and then I got yelled at for removing all of it. So are you asking only to have it trimmed or do you
Oh,
think
no,
all
I
should
would
be
not,
removed? So you'd be fine if it was all gone?
I'm sorry.
You'd be fine if it was all gone?
Absolutely.
I think that's the solution.
Absolutely.
Because cutting grass is actually easier for us than maintaining.
But there's a little gully there.
Yeah, well,
There's a gully.
If
Is
you
it
want,
gully for water? Is that what?
Drainage.
When I was a kid, when I grew up around here, that used to have one running water going.
But you don't see water there much
No.
anymore?
No, you don't.
It's something we'll evaluate, because I think it's always better to get rid of it all.
Yeah,
Then
we-
privacy's an issue.
we had an issue with another resident last year, and she complained, it was along the bike path, and she said, kids are hanging out. And she wanted us to come in and trim it from time to time. We don't have the time to go in and trim it from time to time. But like, we could do it all over town. So we went and ripped everything out. And
Right,
she wanted to have-
I've asked that, and
We'll get
I
that.
was told that the machine was broke, that they couldn't come and make it up.
Well-
But that's fine, but there's still more to it.
Yeah.
When you come
You
up.
say Public Works was perfect and fine.
I'm, people don't call me, so I don't know these.
Well, if I knew your name, I would be calling you.
It's on the website, Mr.
I
Long's
have
site.
been up here several times, and I've even wanted to get an appointment with you, never got one. But that's okay.
My cell phone is on the website.
Yeah, we're on the website.
I believe
So-
I did have the one number.
George has my number, he's got my cell phone, so.
Well, I'll make sure that I will get that.
I'll get down there tomorrow and I'll come down to the end of West First and take a look at it. And I'll get Mr. Wozunk out there, our superintendent.
He knows exactly who I am.
Yeah,
Better to do it now.
we'll get the stuff taken care of. I'm not sure how quickly, but it'll get done, within the spring, so.
Okay, and then if you're coming up, going from my house to the
Yeah.
bike trail, there's a strip of, what is that,
The asphalt,
yes,
yes,
it's like.
washed out.
It's all washed out, and I'm always calling, the water it's ridiculous when it rains. I have the issue and he has the issue. I was told by, what was the gentleman's name you just said?
Mr. Wozunk?
Yes,
Yeah.
it said, don't worry about it, your street's gonna be, you're on the list. They got it, hold on.
You're on the list.
If you.
are, yes.
Okay, okay. I've been on the list and I was told it was going to be on last year. But there's more to my story. So when I asked him about, my street, my driveway kept getting cracked and cracked and cracked because there was a big pothole that didn't get filled for months and months and months and months. So they finally came down and they plugged it up and did whatever. But the moral of the story is my driveway is totally cracked from the water just retained in there. But every time it rains, I get the big puddle, his puddle, I can actually probably go swimming in it and it'll come up to my knees.
Okay. Engineer, please let him know what street's being done.
Well, we have to work that out. We put in for 6 different streets, and we don't have funding to do them all.
We have funding for,
First, second, fourth, fifth.
I'm sorry.
and she's on first.
So.
Is it the west
Was
side?
it the west
So
side?
let's make sure we do first.
West side?
Yeah, so the federal government gave us money, and we're trying to go down all the dead-end streets, and first is number one, so I would say we go number one. That'll resolve the potholes, it'll resolve the drainage, it'll resolve the aprons. What it won't necessarily resolve is the weed stuff, but hopefully we can resolve that, but maybe it's something else that can be done as part of this project. So a little patience with it, but we just got, it wasn't a lot of money, but how much did we get? 250,000? So 250,000 is a decent amount of money, so we can start working, and we'll just start from first and make our way down. Does that make sense? Yep.
Hey, but when you are there, can you please make sure you're checking that pipe that's there? Because when people are going up the walkway, somebody can fall. That can really, somebody can get hurt.
What
If
pipe?
they fall, you know how you're going
Drainage
up?
pipe?
Yes,
the
drainage.
drainage
Concrete drainage
Yeah.
pipe in there?
You should see if there's a big, like from here to here, that if somebody falls, they're gonna fall right into the ditch, right where the pipe is. And I'm surprised someone hasn't fallen on that already.
Okay, we'll take a
Greg,
look
I'll
at
go
it.
up there tomorrow with you.
All right.
Okay,
right.
perfect.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
At least you heard about your street, some good news.
Well, I heard about it 2 years ago, so that's why I said.
No, you gotta talk to.
Now it's on record,
Here's the thing, no one's allowed to talk to borough employees, the workers. You have to talk to elected
You'll
officials,
talk to us,
the
and
mayor.
this is the first time hearing about it.
I
want to
cannot believe you do not know my name. I swear they lock the gate when they see me coming down there.
He doesn't work down there. He's only
I
the
don't
elected
work
official.
I'm the liaison, and Mr. Wozuk reports to me, but I don't run Public Works. But if you bring it to the elected officials, we want to make the residents happy,
We hold them accountable.
and we hold them accountable. So, you know, if you have issues, my name's Craig
You hold us
Lobenstein.
accountable.
Craig Lobenstein, I'm on the website, my phone number's on there, email, everything.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, anyone, if there's no one else, and is there a motion to close the public
I'll
portion?
make a motion to close the public portion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Lobenstein, all in favor?
Aye.
Is there anything else?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Farrell, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we adjourn at 7:45.